How do you set boundaries with your teenager around homework and chores? Well, we're going to talk about that today on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in helping kids, teens, and families to live happier lives. I lead two organizations, Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit 501c3 organization, Child and Teen Counseling, both here in Woodland Hills, California. Every Wednesday at noon, I jump onto Facebook Live to answer your parenting questions. Let's answer today's. I'm having a really hard time setting boundaries with my 14-year-old right now. I want him to get all his homework and house chores done as a precondition to doing other stuff, like before he starts playing video games or texting with friends. It's causing a lot of stress and tension, and he tells me stuff like, "But my friends get to do it." How do I respond to this and make healthy boundaries? Thank you for your question. I think every parent can relate to this conundrum. This is not a new thing. This has been going on since any of us were born, of kids and teenagers resisting homework and chores and wanting to do more preferred activities. But the goal that you have is you want your son to get his homework done and his chores done before he connects with his friends online and has fun. Sounds reasonable enough. There's some caveats to this, though. If you want to set this boundary, first, can you enforce it? If you cannot enforce this, don't do it. Number two, is it reasonable? It sounds reasonable, but let's look at it. How much homework does he have a night? You may say, if he just did it, he'd do it in an hour and a half, but it takes him 4 hours. And you may be right, but he emotionally and attention-wise, he may not have the capacity to sit down and grind through an hour and a half. It just may not be in his mental makeup at this time of his life. So that's something to consider. Chores. How much time does he have for chores? If he did it, would he finish it in like 20 minutes? Or is it like 2 hours of chores? It really depends. So from his perspective, if I do all my chores and homework first, well then after that I'm just going to bed. I have no time to be with my friends. And I hate this. And then not right now, all my friends are playing FIFA or Call of Duty or whatever game it is that they want to do, and I'm feeling left out. So I think it's important to, number one, recognize what is within your teenager's capacity to do. Number two, have empathy that he's feeling left out. We all know what that feels like, and it feels horrible, especially when you're 14, when all you want to do is be accepted and be connected to your peers. So have empathy, have compassion. If you're going to set these boundaries, set them with compassion and love and understanding. I know it's hard, but the sarcasm, get rid of it. The raised eyebrow, the snarky comments, they don't really help anyone. They don't help your son. They don't help you. No one feels better, but have the compassion and still set the boundaries. But also, I would encourage you to invite him into collaborating with you on how to set these boundaries. He may have some ideas, and maybe if he has a voice in creating these boundaries, maybe he's a little more vested in following through on these boundaries, whatever they are. Maybe he says, I want to come home, take a break, play video games first, and then do homework. A lot of kids can't do that. A lot of kids can't transition from video games to homework. Some kids can. It's really up to you to determine and connect with your kid. Is your kid able to do that? And again, every kid's going to be different. So incorporate your kid in the planning of this, in setting his boundaries. The more he's involved, or if it's for your daughter, the more she's involved, the more they are likely to be vested in this program or this policy you have, but they will do it imperfectly. They're not going to be perfect, and you have to allow them to fail. And without your judgment, without your criticism, without your ire, I know this is hard to do. I get it. I'm a parent as well. It just gets in the way. Our emotional needs are not what's important here. It's about your son's emotional needs. And he has this big emotional need of being connected to his friends. So how do we have both, where he can be connected to his friends and still be responsible around the house imperfectly? He's not going to do it perfectly every time. Don't expect perfection. But if the boundaries are in place and they're solid and you're enforcing them with compassion, eventually he will come around and do better. Never perfect, just better. Anyways, that's our question for today. Thank you so much for emailing us. We love your questions. If you have a question you'd like me to answer here on Tips on Teens, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapies.com. teentherapycenter.com, or you can direct message us right here on Facebook. We love your questions. My name is Kent Toussaint with Teen Therapy Center and Child and Teen Counseling. And if you want these jumping in your feed more regularly, make sure you join our Facebook group, Tips on Teens. We love having you there. Feel free to be part of the community. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.